Welcome back to the channel, guys. Judo Sloth here. I hope you're having a good one. In today's Clash of Clans video, we're focusing in on the miners for Town Hall 13. Now, the miners, I feel, are very underrated. They are powerful right now, so long as you can set up the attack correctly, and that's what we're going to show you in this video. They did get that level upgrade to level 7 for Town Hall 13, and I, yet again, as with yesterday's video, I am the last person to attack in my team. We've done fantastic today, 33 stars, and that is without mine. We are also under attack. The enemy team finally awakening, but I called base number 12. Now, the first time I seen this base, you guys know that I like to theorize on strange looking bases. Now, if you are new to my channel, you want to see my daily Clash of Clans videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. So when I first looked at this base, what I thought to myself is, this compartment at the top with the town hall does look a little bit strange. We have the 2 scatter shots here, which will be difficult in terms of taking that down. How do I best do this? Well, what I first noticed is if I could get my queen into this area, not only would I take down the town hall, I'd take down the enemy queen, the clan castle, I could also reach the 2 scatter shots. Now, initially, whilst you might not take them down initially, as long as you tank them onto the queen, I can then snipe them off with anything that's coming through this other direction. When I was looking at it, I thought it's pretty easy to just set up the funnel. I can use my king on this side, and that will basically close down the base for the miners to come straight in. So how do I get my queen into this entry point? My first thought was to just take a wrecker in here that's going to tank for the queen. It's going to be very nice. How do I set up the funnel though? And then when I looked at it, this small archer tower here could be quite nice to just drop a stone slammer onto. It's going to basically open up this wall, and I am assuming that there's Tesla in this compartment. My main assumption for that is the town hall here is meant to be a gimmick. It's meant to try and draw me in to hammer all of my troops in there and have them go down. That's why we have the 2 scatter shots at separate angles, the queen, the CC, a lot of stuff that will damage my troops. So that's why I assume there's Teslas here to just add to that situation, and that's where I feel the slammer will give me better value than the wrecker, because the slammer will be able to wipe out a lot of them Tesla since there's no air defense in that area. So that's my initial entry point, 1 balloon and the slammer onto the small range archer tower, followed by a baby dragon to wipe out this. That will allow the queen, if I place her around about on this elixir collector, to wipe out these buildings and be drawn in. I can't see her getting drawn around the outside because this little area is just too easy for her to take down and then redirect in. Once I get her into the initial area, you will get to see the attack, and I will show you some more minor attacks. But what is my best troop composition inside the clan castle? Now, initially I was thinking Ice Golem P.E.K.K.A. helped to get the clan castle, or the town hall, sorry, down. But then what I thought is, why don't I take 3 ice golems? They're clearly wanting to put huge damage here. As my ice golems pop, they'll just continue to freeze this area and help my queen through. So that's what I'm going to do, and as long as my queen takes this section, that's all I would want. King takes this section, miners come through, it's looking pretty good. I have plenty of heal spells as well down to the back area, and basically if all goes south, I'm going to send a big group of miners in to get the town hall, royal champion and some miners as well on the outside in order to help pick off percentage, secure the 2-star. Without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Enough explaining, it's time for business. 5 healers, coconut loons, let's go. Be sure to leave me a like for good luck. We're into it, guys. The Grand Warden is on ground as well, so going to be careful here. I am going to start with my queen right here, followed by 1 balloon and the healers, 1 balloon and the slammer. Open up that wall, slammer. Allow my queen in. That's exactly what we want. Teslas are there as well, as we assumed. Slammer opens up. No, it doesn't open up the wall. I'm going to have to be quick here to get my queen back in. I'm going to fly a few miners in to try and help. And that will hopefully redirect my queen into the base here. The ice golem's doing a good job, and yes, queen is redirected in. Now we have all of the troops coming out, so I can poison them. The ice golems, again, doing a good job. And I'm just kind of taking my time here. Let's get a rage onto the queen and the healers. The healers have come into range of the town hall as well. Now the enemy queen goes down, town hall goes down. I don't need to use that rage. And let's get going with the king on this side. Let's get another balloon in there to help. Try and help to search for black bombs. We've got that town hall. We just need to wait of the funneling to be set. We've got one scatter shot tanked. Queen is doing pretty good at the moment. Let's rage. Then we can get going with these miners, because the king's done a good enough job. Sorry about the recording issue there, guys. Let's get the Grand Warden in. We can freeze. That was a terrible freeze, but it's okay. Let's get a heal in. Do we freeze that scatter shot? I don't think we do. Queen is doing a nice job. Let's use that king's ability. Royal Champion can be used, I feel, down the bottom here. Let's keep an eye. Let's freeze the multi and the wizard tower. Didn't quite get the multi there. I feel like let's get the Royal Champion onto the bottom. Let's get a heal in for them miners, because they are getting quite low. Grand Warden is on the outside here. If he pushes forward a little bit more, I will use that ability now to try and help. We're not looking too bad here, guys. We just have to be careful on time, but we've still got a minute left and only one heal spell. Royal Champion still has the ability, holding on to the final heal just for the back end here with the miners, and I do think we're going to get this one. All of that planning at the start of the attack has indeed helped, and I think we're good here, guys. Let's get the minions in. Can we snipe this archer anywhere? Make sure we haven't lost any buildings. Let's get the heal in preparation of the miners getting there. All that is a poor heal. Gone poor to the end of the attack, but we're going to get it. Popping the abilities, getting through the final defenses, and the miners are going to take us to 3 stars. That is 3-star after 3-star, because yesterday we got the 3-star as well. That definitely could have gone better. So why don't we break it down in terms of why it worked, review it very quickly, and then I will show you another miner attack after this. So I feel like we explained the plan at the very start there incredibly well. And we went into a bit of depth with it, didn't we? Why I chose set troops, so I don't feel we need to explain the start too much. Now, I was a bit worried when my queen stepped to the Grand Warden statue that she might have been drawn around. That's why I spammed a couple of miners in alongside the wizard, the minion, and whilst the stone slammer didn't get through both layer of walls, we weren't necessarily expecting that. As long as the queen can reach that town hall, then that's all I wanted. If she got through to that area to get the scatter shot, then it's a bonus, but ultimately if you can tank the scatter shot with your queen, which you can see both of them are going to be in range of my queen when she walks along this alley, that's all you need, something to tank the scatter shot. So just bear that in mind, guys. You don't always have to take them down. I decided to put that loon in just to help in terms of, was there any other black bombs in there? Gotta get that king in to try and carve that funnel initially for the miners to come through. If you don't carve the funnel enough, then the miners can be drawn on the outside. So as we said, miners are all about pathing. We've got the thin layer here for the miners to come straight through, and that is what you have to do. Just get that pathing right. Now the first spell I feel is good. My queen's tanking the defenses down the bottom and continuing to take them out. My 2 freeze spells could have most certainly been better. The first one I panicked and put on the Royal Champion. That could have been better. I think that heal was very good as the miners converge. That's probably my best heal spell. Then, since the Grand Warden did get in range, I know they were still inside the heal spell. Granted, I could have waited another second or 2 on that as a little bit of a minor tweak, but I was worried the Grand Warden was going to go out of range. And with that Royal Champion coming in, her main focus was the multi-inferno. With the miners, it is trying to strip apart any of the splash damages. Do try and surround the rest of the base with your cleanup troops. This heal was definitely poor, but basically that's the only defense which is going to struggle with my miners coming through. So really, I could have waited, placed it here, but at that point I could have swagged that heal. We knew we had enough with the Queen ability, with the Royal Champion ability. That is pretty epic, guys. I'm not sure that we had another minor attack in this war, but I definitely have one on file from a previous war. So why don't we break down that attack so we can hopefully showcase why the level 7 miners are what you should be using right now. Let's jump across to that attack. Now, we did actually get another miner attack this war. I'll show you that in a second. We are going to finish this one with 36 stars. We're in second place right now. Shout out to my good friends over at Reddit Vortex. Obviously, the Reddit community is an amazing place with Clash of Clans. They did beat us in round 1, and they have been tearing this league apart since then. We're still chasing as best as we can, but they are doing a tremendous job and well on their way to Champion 1. However, this is the attack which used the miners as well. Now, it's a little bit different to the miner attack that I just used. However, it does still show the key messages that I want you to take away from this. Obviously, my attack used the Queen Charge, as does this attack, and that is going to be your main entry for the miners. It's very rare that you will use a kill squad into miners just because you want that value with the Queen as the miners come through. So all you need to do really is get that Queen into the base initially. That can be difficult to set up the funnel. My attack was obviously a little bit worrying, but get the Queen in and she's going to split out part of the base. Obviously in this example, it's over to the 9 o'clock section. Then we're going to send the miners in straight to the town hall. Now, often if you are attacking the town hall with the miners, I would recommend coming into the town hall when you can. Main reason for that, let me pause for a second, is the Giga Inferno is going to do an incredible amount of damage onto your miners. It's not that they cannot get away from the Giga Bomb, that's not an issue, but the miners are a bit more squishy, and whilst the Inferno beams are on them, they will go down very quickly. So you've got to get through that area quick, not to mention clan war leagues, any single attack format war, you need that town hall. And the miners, once you've deployed them, you don't really have a lot of backup plans unless you take the Stone Slammer. Now that is an option. Often, let's actually pause again because it's relevant. The Wall Wrecker was used here, but in actual fact, all it did was tank a bit for our Queen. Now that is great in itself, you can use it to do that and then reinforce troops. Be careful whatever troops come out of there that they don't steal the healers, but potentially wall breakers could have been used here, followed by that jump spell to still give access through the base where we wanted. That means that when the miners come in, the Slammer, I'm just theorizing right on the spot here guys, the Slammer could have then maybe been brought into this side for these defenses to try and keep the miners onto the inside. What we will probably see, although the Royal Champion can be used for that, why don't we just watch the replay? I'm speculating too much here guys. Basically, when you get them miners in, you want the miners to come through the center of the base, get the dangerous stuff. You don't want them to come towards the outside and kind of split up in the middle. I hope that makes sense, but the main focus here is we've got that thin strip. We've got the king deployed on this side, so we've got that strip for the miners to come straight through, and that is what they're good at. Now, in this attack, arguably, the Queen is down. Yes, the enemy king is still up, but one of the reasons you might use the miners over the Hog Riders is depending on if the Queen is still alive. It depends on pathing. Maybe you can easily path the miners, whereas if there's a lot of defenses and it's harder to set the funnel, you might opt for the Hog Riders because you've got to be able to get the miners to stick on the inside of the base, whereas Hog Riders being defense targeting troops can obviously stick to the defenses. So this is where as they come through, look, they're splitting. We've got some going into the middle, some coming to the outside. So in order to make this even more efficient, the Stone Slammer could have been used on this side, but it just depends on how you do it. Love the use of these couple of loons to try and take that down. Grand Warden's ability is used when the miners are in most danger. However, if they are going to split, you want to use it before they split. Now that sounds like common sense guys, but it really just encompasses the most amount of miners. Obviously your heal spells, mine wasn't a perfect example, but use them over splash damage. The miners, they're very good, they're very quick, they can get through point defense relatively okay. You've just got to heal them through the splash, and this is where they're now stuck on the outside of the base. Now they've got enough power to get through this. As long as you get the funnel initially, you can get it done, but actually trying to force them into the center there with the use of that Slammer or Royal Champion might have just meant that the multi went down earlier. However, once you've got the key principles set up in terms of that funneling, in terms of getting the miners in, that's the key takeaway message I want you to take from this video. The Scattershot do offer damage to the miners, but they are quick to get through them. I personally feel as long as you tank the scatter shot, you'll be good from there. Maybe even a balloon or two can be good to do that. I hope that video has helped you out in terms of the miners. I personally love using the miners. Let me know what you like to use, so you can expect to see more videos with them in the coming days because I'm having fun using them. But if you do want to see my war attack from yesterday, we showcased it. It was the Yeti smash. The Yetis, I feel, are the best Town Hall 13 attacks. Very strong. I will link that right here for you guys. Be sure to check that out. You will enjoy it. But that wraps it up for this one. Until next time, guys, we'll see you here tomorrow. Have a good one.